All right, y'all. Professor X here. This is my first All Elite Wrestling review of tonight's Full Gear pay-per-view, which was nothing short of awesome. First off, we have the buy-in show featuring Dr. Britt Baker versus Bea Priestley. This was a very solid match, and a good thing. AEW has gotten rid of the comedy on their pre-shows. Darby Allin was shown sitting at ringside in the crowd during this match. Baker won the match by forcing Priestley to tap out to the lockjaw submission. After that, the lights went out. Here comes Awesome Kong and Brandy Rhodes. They walked out, nailed Bea Priestley with a spinning back fist. Kong then hit the implant buster on Priestley. Kong used a knife to cut a chunk of Priestley's hair. She wrapped it around her waist. She took the hair, sniffed it a little bit, then they walked out. Now, personally, I don't think knives should be used in wrestling in a storyline. That sends a bad message. Because, if you're a wrestler and you're big and bad, you're supposed to be able to fight with your bare hands. So, the knife part, that wasn't a good idea. All right. Next, Jim Ross was introduced. The announced crew for the main show will be Jim Ross and Excalibur. Tony Schiavone is not at the show because he is calling a Georgia Bulldogs game. Taz called the action with Excalibur for the pre-show. Now we're on to the main card. The first match is the Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful. This match kicked off the pay-per-view. The Rock and Roll Express was shown at ringside. Before the match got started, Ortiz got tossed over the barricade, so Santana had to fight a handicap match for a few minutes. Nick injured his shin or knee, and it played a part in the match. When they tried to hit the Meltzer driver, PNP won the street sweeper. They attacked the Bucks after the match, and Sammy Guevara joined in, but the Rock and Roll Express jumped in, and the Bucks were up. Again. Ricky Morton hit a Canadian Destroyer on Santana and then did a dive through the ropes onto Ortiz and Guevara at ringside. He got a massive pop. Of course, it's always good to see old school from the National Wrestling Alliance days, doing the thing again. Ricky Morton did a pretty good leap over the top rope, and the crowd, of course, chanted, "You still got it." I kind of miss hearing that old Rock and Roll Express theme music, but I'm pretty sure that's probably long gone somewhere, or it's probably sitting in the WWE studio somewhere collecting dust, since they own the rights to all that stuff. Next, we have Hangman Adam Page versus Pac. This was a hard-hitting match, plenty of near falls. The finish was Page hitting the Deadeye for the win. Excalibur said Page may be in line for an AEW World Championship opportunity. Next, we have Joey Janela versus Shawn Spears, also known as the Chairman, accompanied by Hall of Famer for Horseman Tully Blanchard. Spears won this match in just over 10 minutes. Spears had taken off a top turnbuckle, and while Earl Hebner was putting the pad back on Tully Blanchard, and Spears did a spike pile driver to Janela at ringside. Spears hit the Death Valley driver and pinned Janela. Of course, as you know, these are the tactics that Tully and Arn used in the Horsemen and also in WWF as the Brainbusters, managed by Bobby the Brain Heenan. Next, we have a backstage interview with Kip Sabian. He was joined by Penelope Ford. She said, "Why be bad when you can be super bad?" Apparently, this is part of his supposed to be a sex appeal gimmick. And by the looks of Penelope, she must be the first, I guess AEW's first version of a diva. But I hope this trend doesn't, grow. We don't need divas in AEW. We need women wrestlers like we have, Next up, we have the AEW World Tag Team Championship 3-way match, SCU versus Lucha Bros versus Private Party. Good match. Of course, it wasn't great because it needed more time. SCU retained, and Daniels, dressed up as Pentagon, attacked Pentagon. Daniels removed his mask to reveal himself. And it was a good tag match, for the time that we had. It was plenty of action. Tag team matches, good tag team matches with good tag team wrestlers are always good and full of action. Next, we have the AEW Women's World Championship. Riho versus Ima Sakura. Very good match. Lots of fast-paced action and chain wrestling in the final minutes. Riho won and retained the title after a crucifix. Sakura held up Rio's hand after the match. Good sportsmanship. That's kind of nice. Hopefully, maybe it'll lead to a heel turn, and we can have a Riho and Ima Sakura feud. Next up, AEW World Championship. Chris Jericho versus Cody the Nightmare Rhodes. Very good match. Cody was busted open after diving head first and missing and crashing hard on the ramp that leads to the ring. The finish was Jericho winning because MJF threw in the towel when Cody was locked in the lion tamer. MJF apologized but then kicked Cody in between his legs for his official heel turn. MJF walked up the ramp and you could hear fans were angry. Someone threw trash at MJF. Of course, it was trash, and it was a good splash of beer because it was a very good splash. And in the background, as MJF kept walking, you could see security rushing over to the guy. So I'm pretty sure that guy probably got ejected after that, because no matter how angry you are, you're not supposed to throw beer or trash at the wrestlers. That's a no-no. And finally, the main event. And this shit was off the hook, like wrestling should be. We're talking blood, weapons, barbed wire, all kinds of shit. This was Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega. These guys brought down the house. It will go down as one of the most brutal matches in pro wrestling history. I don't know about that. I've seen better. But basically, it took plenty of pages out of ECW and CCW. On the CCW that's on YouTube, which I haven't watched yet, but I've heard every match is like this main event that we saw. The match included glass, a barbed wire bed, they call it the barbed wire spider web, a barbed wire baseball bat, barbed wire broom, tables of course, and they fought on an exposed ring. Yes, they took hard bumps on the ring boards with no canvas and no mats. It was wild. Also, one table had nothing but it was a table full of mouse traps. That was a first in history. All set to all set to snap if anything hits any of them. Kenny Omega was body slammed onto that thing, and them things just started popping. And holy shit, that had to hurt. Overall, I give this pay-per-view a 10, a pure 10. This was awesome from start to finish. And of course, I'll be watching Wednesday night, to see the fallout. So big up, props to AEW, props to you, Cody Rhodes. Keep bringing us a good product. And on one final note, WWE, I still say you're in trouble because what I saw last Friday night and basically what I've been seeing ain't looking too good. Better watch out. And I don't even care if NXT is thinking of closing the gap. I'm pretty sure AEW has the shit to widen the gap again. But anyway, leave your thoughts and comments in the description. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.